the computer. So the idea of this meeting is really because we're not a community with a committee, because we run by people who want to do stuff, put in the time in to lead on things that they want to lead. We kind of didn't have a committee meeting. We had no kind of stop, check where we are and where we're going. So the idea was that we have this meeting once a month so we can kind of stop, look what we've done, what the various members want to do, and write a interesting newsletter, which will then go out on the website. It'll go out on Twitter, and I assume now it'll go up onto Facebook as well, since we've got that page, thanks to Lance. So I think everyone here knows, but just in case anyone watches the recording, how we work as a community. We have a number of people who are here as community reps. Their job is basically like the election officials at a government vote. They're here just to facilitate stuff, not to actually lead and decide. Anyone who wants to do anything for the community pops an idea forward, and the community then votes on it, and if it gets a sign off, then that person's free to go ahead and lead and deliver it. Although there are a few people who do a lot. It's not because we're empowered in any way, it's just because we're keen and anyone can do anything.
Yeah, Billy, no mates, we're happy to help out.
Oh, we forget to say no.
Yeah, that's probably it. So the last newsletter, we were big on training. We had foundation. We were looking at offering foundation training, some kind of full, some kind of open study, stuff with beyond exams, intermediate courses. We had raised money to get a new part for the digital bridge. The SIP network had just come up. We were starting to look at promotion in Radcom. And we just, Lance had just created a Facebook page for us, which was to create an awareness or to share stuff on there. So I guess what's been going on? Don't know if we want to, should I cover foundation and, oh no, Lance, you're here.
No, I'll let you cover it, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, so training wise, stuff has progressed. The intermediate, we started an intermediate course on the 1st of February, and we've got, I think we've got 3 programmed in for this year. We're expecting to potentially run 4. It depends on demand. That course has kicked off. I've been through all of the slide decks and kind of polished them after the last 4 runs of the course, the pilot and the first 3. Nothing drastic, just shifted it from a week 0 to week 7 course to a week 1 to 7, 1 to 8, whatever. And standardized the slide deck and sorted out some weird font choices that were on the original. So it was nothing drastic. Also, we're doing a lot of templating this time. So everything that we post on each lesson, I'm putting into what Vic's called a playbook. So that for every future course, it's a copy-paste delivery thing. So any time we spend is on one-to-one with the candidates rather than faffing around doing admin all the time. Foundation, and a ton has happened. Nathan's on a little bit of a break at the moment. He's dealing with a few bits and bats. Lance has very kindly offered to take over leading on foundation and making sure everything progresses. So we've taken what was the foundation slide deck I prepared for Milton Keynes ARS, and we've converted it to an online form. I say we, Lance basically has, and that slide deck has been prepared in such a way that it's modular, and each element of the foundation can be presented like the intermediate does through Zoom and through online quizzes and so on and so forth. The idea being that we fill a gap that is in the market at the moment. So Essex provide an awesome structured course over the space of about 3 weeks, but a lot of it is just the structured learning, whereas we're wanting it to be a little bit more interactive with a bit more personal one-on-one sessions. And we're wanting to be able to lift and drag this into other situations. Don't know if you want to say anything, Robin, roughly on that.
We've got a couple of irons in the fire, hoping to attract, in quotes, the youth market. There's some existing policies with cadet forces, possibly running foundation for cadet forces, uniformed youth organisations, I'll call it, because that includes the things like the Scouts and the Girl Guides and that. There's also a thought we've got that's probably on not quite in the fire yet, but if we're delivering it to youth organisations, we thought it would be an ideal thing for Duke of Edinburgh Award as a bronze skill, which is a 3-monthly thing, which would be a dead slow feed with probably lots of homework and directed research possibly. But that's on the back burner just now. We're just we're fiddling around in the background to see whether we get the nod off people.
Yeah, just to add on that. So Stu, M0, I always forget his call sign, MMX, I always want to say. Myself, M0 UKF, are part of the, and quite a few of us are part of the National Scouts amateur radio unit. Robin, obviously you're involved with the Sea Cadets already. So there's quite a lot of us who are already intertwined. I'm a big fan of the DofE. I'd love us to be able to do DofE bronze foundation and DofE silver teach the foundation and get your intermediate or something like that.
Certainly possible. Certainly possible.
Yeah, we'll see. So that's just kind of progressing naturally. So Lance has taken over. How are we looking on timing, Lance, in terms of rollout for foundation?
We're due to do a trial starting 22nd of March,
Awesome.
which will be over 2 weeks, 5 sessions, and we're running through the timing next Monday on see how the slides work. And there's a lot of stuff in Google Classroom as well, so there's a lot of work to do outside the Zoom sessions.
I think it's looking pretty solid as it is. I'm quietly confident. Full Robin.
The full, we've written the slide decks, the presentation. We've written lots of slide decks containing questions, and we haven't considered Google Classroom, but we're on schedule, I believe. We're not going to run a trial or anything. We're going to dive into the first course and see what it's like. So we're looking to advertise that on Discord, or maybe elsewhere as well, beginning next month, with a 4-week lead time into a course running first week of April. Again, it's going to be on a Wednesday night. Again, it's about 7:30, and I think Wednesday night is going to be our training night, apart from the foundation, which is running other nights as well. And then that leaves other nights spare for our own stuff, if you like. So looking for probably 25, 30 candidates for the first course, and we'll give it a shot, see what it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I say foundation? Are we doing 10? I think
10 on the trial, yes.
10 on the trial.
I think though the 30 on a full, I don't think you're going to struggle to fill that. I know the demand on that, it seems to be really high at the moment.
Yeah.
The downside, you'll start with 30 and you'll end with about 15.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It might be too big a jump for some people. It might be too simple for some people, but we'll try and hit the middle and attract as many as possible. And of course, at the end of every course, I'm conscious that what we need to do is do a review with everybody that was involved in it. I see you dropped off the course. Why was that? Or have you got your license yet? Have you passed your test yet? Because we need to be able to traffic light it and know what we're doing well or not so well.
Cool. In other news, beyond exams, Ewan has very kindly offered to help facilitate the admin of Beyond Exams, because I was keeping on top of it ish. Things are coming up, so he very kindly offered to support me in doing the admin for that. So he's taking a leading role in delivering Beyond Exams. We've got a decent number of people progressing through, and that leaves us on the last initiative, which was I think we ended up on the term open study. I think that was lower down the list of stuff to progress? I don't know.
Yeah,
where we were,
so
Phil.
basically, still building a list of ideas of what we can do with that. I'm not rushing into it because I think there's only a few people who might be ready for that anyway at the moment, and get some ideas from the other courses that we're running to see how to progress with it.
Awesome. So what else have we had this month? We've had a lot of talks, which have been awesome.
Yeah, who arranged those?
Yeah, you. I think that was you. I think that was you. So I
yeah.
think.
So we had Rob Chipperfield and Tim Kirby and Nathan's dad, Brian. And I think we've also got one coming up from this 2E as well.
Oh shit! Don't invite me. I didn't do it.
Oh yeah,
Me.
When is that? Because it's not in the diary yet.
yeah, that's why.
I think I might be next, but it's a few things changed kind of quite quickly lately.
So the talks have been well attended, I've thought, and they've been well watched on YouTube. So we definitely need to keep some momentum on them. But the pace you started out on, do you think it's sustainable? Because that's been a lot.
I just basically offered them a slot when they wanted, and they all were kind of together.
Yeah.
So, but if anyone else knows of anyone who can do a talk or anything, we can.
Could we possibly try and approach, because we're a virtual club, some other countries like America, if their time zones allow?
Well volunteered.
Fuck.
Have two works fine. Yeah.
Language.
Yeah, there's Tim 5 G5TM. We invited him onto the full group to give us a talk on his antenna experience. I think that was well received, and I think if he was approached by the club, he might want to do it. He might be open to do a talk on a Thursday night, and he's a member. There's Rowley from New Zealand that does de-expeditioning as well. But we've just had a talk on that, so but I'm sure there's people like that who would be keen to talk to us.
We've got, I mean, when we drag into those talks seemingly as many people as any other traditional club was. There does seem to be a good between 20 and 30 people in. So we've got the immediate audience, but also if you look at the FT8 on a Pi talk that's on YouTube with 462 views, you've got the Tim Kirby presentation at 117 views, despite being 2 weeks ago. So
yeah, and the Rob one is about 170 already.
Yeah, they're all. I didn't actually look at that one. They're all making. They're all being watched or being taught. So it'd be great. Do we want to try and make it a bit more structured so people know when they are every time, or is it working as is?
Well, when I've approached the people, I've said, when do you want to do it?
Yeah, which is the best way.
We're an online club, but people sort of generally say, oh, we can do Thursdays. Like, okay, 8 o'clock, yeah. So it's not me saying this is definitely the time you've got to do. It's
yeah, this is kind of like the.
And that doesn't mean that Mitchell's going to do is at 2 o'clock on a Wednesday morning.
Well, as long as it's on YouTube.
As long as it's recorded.
Yeah.
We don't want to formalize it, I don't think, because there'll be times where we can't get speakers and we'll be desperate. We'll be looking for speakers, which I don't think we need to do.
I think the other thing also is, like me, I couldn't do a Thursday because my work on a Thursday, I'm knackered by the time I get in. I actually have to go in the office that day, and the people I work with.
All I will say is, if you want to schedule something with someone, I'm not accountable for it directly or anything. If it's not booked in the diary, it's not booked.
Yeah.
So
I
find someone they can do a Monday evening thing, and there's no training or anything. Just book it in.
I think sometimes what we probably want to do is make sure when we send some tweets out, send a diary tweet that way, because then I pick it up on like my Twitter and share it out, because that goes out on both mine now, because I've split up the 2 Twitter accounts I've got. But that, I think sometimes that pulls people in, and actually it's a shame we can't post links, because that when I did it on pub like that brought a few more people in, but we can't do that.
Sorry, just getting my coffee. Be right back.
We can't post it. Oh, we mean we can't post links to Zoom. Yeah. Because
That's my only annoyance is.
Yeah, otherwise you end up with a ton of.
Because if not, I think we then attract a
crashing.
few other people who are. Because what they were saying, and I was watching one of the TX factors, and what they're saying is the RSBGB has said they've seen more talks going on through, how to put it, through other channels than that clubs are doing. And I sit and I think, well, we're doing it. Let's.
Yeah, I think the problem is that if you don't want to have Twitter, if you don't want to have Zoom bombs, you need to be doing talks through YouTube streaming or Twitch streaming, or platforms that you can just have people drop in on. And a lot of the live talks are on YouTube for that reason. But it doesn't really. It's kind of no longer a community thing. Really, it's not the same. I don't know.
I don't know, because I think that with a lot of the things like DX Commander's YouTube, he's got the regular community that always turn up, whatever the hell he does. And then he's got all sorts of other people who turn up to figure out what the hell's going on. They've never seen it before and stuff. And so we may end up with something similar if we did it that way.
That's true.
You've also got the ones that turn up to say, what's he flapping his lips at this week?
I mean, we've got 124 subscribers on YouTube now, which is not bad going.
No, and it's new. I think the other thing is maybe we need to push the Facebook one more. If we have a page now, you set up events on it. It reminds people. Just sending information out at the last minute on Twitter is not really the best way to plan ahead, is it?
No, and that's the problem. Is
You've almost got to do 3 steps of approach. So
yeah.
A bit before you have to say we're doing this, a little bit more before, a little bit sooner you say this is coming up this week, and then this is happening in an hour.
Yeah, and it's the planning ahead rather than running on, because we had so many talks in such a short period and they were great. But if they'd been over 4 months, we could have announced them, promoted them, and so on.
Yeah. I might do a test tomorrow night. I might try the Zoom link for a shortener to see if it gets. I'll control it still, but see how to put it. If we get Zoom bombs, if we use a short link, so it's not so visible that it is a Zoom link. Might be, because sometimes I think that's pick people up in motion.
We're back to the question of, well, what. Are we just trying to attract people to talks and presentations? To what end, I guess? Are we just trying to?
Yeah, and what's the goal? Do you want to get a bigger number of people in the club, or do you want to have more exposure? Or that's what we have to figure out, right?
If you have a talk and there's people within the club that are interested in it, and there's 10, 15 turned up, they all get a chance to ask a question. If you invite anybody to arrive and one day 300 arrive, they're not going to be able to ask the questions. They're going to say, I'm not going to bother these anymore.
You know what we could do? Between us, we're more than capable of, for every talk, one of us could live stream it on Twitch, and we could put a banner on the bottom saying, to join the call, join this Discord server. So we could then announce on Twitter the Twitch URL. People who just want to watch it can watch it on the live stream. And if people want to come and take part in it, they join the Discord and get the Zoom details.
I would say that's probably quite good.
What's Twitch?
Yeah, so YouTube Live,
right, yeah,
or Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. That the benefit of doing something like that is you can get them to write their questions in the chat thing, rather than with the Zoom where people try to interrupt and physically ask questions, and you have a little bit more management. So if it ever does get,
which is what people like the DX Commander do, and
if it ever does get up to 800 people, you've got an easier way to manage it.
Well, if we do get to a point where Zoom is overloaded by people, I think it's one of those where it's a great problem to have scenario.
I agree, but it was Robin's thing about if we only have 30 people, you can easily everybody ask their own question and stuff. This would be a way of being able to deal with that, where inside the group or club members perhaps are on Zoom, and everybody else is on live stream on YouTube or something, and so they could ask questions, but they've got to do it in the chat. And we're also promoting them to come over to Discord, perhaps. As well.
Yeah. That sounds like a great.
Zoom access is via Discord, and for
Pardon?
anybody else that wants it, it's via
YouTube,
Facebook or Twitter or whatever.
I think you're creating a funnel to get people in, because we had a big influx of Callum's of the DX Commander videos that caused a massive influx, but actually that's tapered off now, and you've just got people who are joining through randomly coming across us
it's
now.
training. Majority of the a lot is training. Every time we put a training advert out, we get a good. I mean, every training course has had 50 people on, and we're on our 5th one. It's bringing in a lot of people, but it's that classic club challenge kind of, and I don't really care, but it gets people in, they do the training and on they go, and that's fair enough, to be honest. But yeah.
Have you thought of inviting Callum to do a talk?
Yeah, no, he's happy to.
That wouldn't be a talk, that'd be a rant.
Yeah, he can go into
doesn't matter if it gets everybody to watch it.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of subscribers, hasn't he? So
He'll get people in, but sometimes though, I would say he can be a little bit arrogant, and he's a bit. I've seen some of his videos, and I'll never buy his product due to his attitude.
At the same time, he's promoting himself and his business. That's what he's in the game for.
Yeah, I would rather him come along in a non-business aspect.
I think he probably would.
Which I much rather always say to people, you're here not to promote your business, you're here for your experience, because that way we're not endorsing in any sense his business, and actually sometimes people speak more freely when it's not involving their business.
Yeah.
And
I think well, the general pitch that I know he does, he has a kind of standing pitch that he does to clubs, and it's kind of what got him into the hobby and what got him interested in what got him into the hobby, and how he learned so much about antennas and so on and so forth. And everyone has different, and he equally respects, everyone has different levels of knowledge and ability, and different and perceives his and everyone else's ability differently. And I know some people within Discord aren't a big fan of the products or what he's as such, and perhaps over promotion, perhaps. I don't know. I get why people don't. I get why people have issues, but
got a Marmite personality, hasn't he?
Yeah.
There are people who love him and there are people who hate him, but there's hardly anybody in the middle.
Yeah,
I would say the other one actually we probably want to have a chat with is TX Factor. No, because the last ones I watched, they've been sponsored by the RSGB, not Martin and Lynch. So their videos have changed quite a bit, and they'll probably be worth at some point approach him.
We also probably want to do so we've got, I'll write them down so that they go in the newsletter of stuff we've discussed. So we've got TX Factor, we've got DX Commander,
GM6 DX.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
Could we get the guy who at some point might need to approach him, is the one who did give him a little bit more time, trying to approach the one who's done All-Star, the guy from Southend, he won something, because it'd be interesting to see what he's created.
So I was gonna put down the Freestar Network guys.
G7 RPG.
I know that call sign.
He's the HubNet guru. Yeah. He's the one who makes the
All-Star nodes.
The nodes, that's the one. Yeah, he's the one who makes the nodes. He'd be an interesting chap.
Yes. Or what's his face? M0. I always forget his call sign now.
HOY is the other one. That's
who does. The one, Steve. Steve from.
We at some point try to get 2M0 SQL talk about CloudLog.
For what?
So Andy Taylor that does all the pie stuff.
The one who talks about the
one who creates it, but most of the time he's not very well.
No, that's the only concern. That would be he would be one that's actually probably be quite fantastic.
Who are you talking about?
Peter Goodhall, 2M0 SQL.
What's he doing?
He writes CloudLog.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we've started off. That's another one we've been doing since we started. Last month, we're offering a free instance of CloudLog to anyone who asks for it in the club. That was another thing that we've done.
Yeah, that's true. And the other guy we might want to talk to is Mike M0 MSN, because he does a lot of fiddling around with antennas and stuff. And he's doing it always in his kitchen, which is
You've seen his stuff.
yeah. So he's giving it the you don't have to have a workshop, you don't have to have a lot of gear. He just makes it work.
He just gets wrong off his missus for wrecking the bench.
Yeah, he's got to change his kitchen.
Could we also, if not, M0TVO, Neil Booth, who creates the antennas?
I don't know. I must watch his stuff. We'll see.
Nigel.
M0 what?
TVO, Charlie Victor Oscar. Even if they're not basically come to talk about some of what they sell, is actually to try and inspire people to possibly. It's going to contradict what I said about Callum, but some of these ones who create some of these products, maybe try and get them to come along and talk about their products a little bit. Not a sales pitch, but a casual chat about them. I think might be.
Yeah, I think you have to get honestly. I think you have to give and take very much, and people who make certain things in amateur radio for a living do it out of passion. Yeah. And well, I know Callum can be marmitey, but I think you have to recognise that passion, and they will naturally want to share that stuff that they love. And I don't mind. I think we should
look at Callum's early videos when he introduces everyone by telling people why he's interested in building antennas. Yeah. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, but the other thing is he's also puts all of his information up, so he sells stuff. But you don't have to buy it. You can just download the information and build your own without having a single bit of equipment off him. But some of the bits, it's just cheaper to buy off him because it's a lot easier than trying to make it yourself.
Yeah.
The thing with Callum is his foundation videos were very, very. He was kind of contagious, and it was entertaining enough not to have the stereotypical amateur radio old bloke with a Mac sitting in his shed. It was like some weird bloke with a weekend, and it was like, it was different. It was interesting, and to be brutally honest, that's probably why I ended up sitting here today, because of one day I bounced in flicking around on YouTube, and he kind of grabbed my attention.
Yeah. It's the same story. This is why I'm sitting here, because I saw these series of videos.
I didn't see them till afterwards, and obviously I was on one of his, and that's why I now have a better microphone.
I will have to jump in a second, but if I can just say, I would like to have a talk about someone that can talk about portable operations.
I don't think we know anyone in this room who knows about that. Do we, Nathan?
Okay. I can make something, but obviously I haven't done it in many years, but I can certainly talk about it and different things you can do. It's not a problem at all. I can come up with something. I can figure something out, that's for sure.
I also, from Milton Keynes Club, there's a guy called Laz M0BOI, and he builds a lot. He's an electrical engineer. He works in some really impressive projects. He built his own transmitter for the SL100 satellite and all that kind of stuff. And he's doing a presentation in a couple of months at MCAS about using Arduinos and Pis in projects to control radio components, which I think will be interesting to some. So when he's written it once, I'll ask him if he wouldn't mind reprising it.
There's one more thing. The emergency network, the ARN, Amateur Radio Emergency Network.
Ardent network.
Well, this was what I was going to ask you, if you were interested when you said portable ops, if it was more that way inclined, because there's a guy in Norway, and if we could get him to give us a talk, he's brilliant. He's got a hell of a lot of stuff on going off-grid portable. He's got a bicycle. He goes out. He goes down by the sea. He goes up to Lapland in the middle of bloody winter, and so he's got a lot of interesting stuff on his channel. He's got a blog, and I think he might be interested if we got him along on the basis of, I don't know, some sort of collab where he will be put it up on his own channel, which will give us some visibility. But he gets us 700 odd members all visible to his channel.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a possibility. I don't know.
And I think, don't forget that we've probably got people lurking in the background on the server who have their own interests, who would be quite prepared to give some sort of presentation.
Yeah.
It's finding them, and you can keep asking, but
Thank you.
people need a gentle persuasion sometimes, but it's finding these people.
Before I forget, the Arden one, the guy who set up the Essex one will come. I can ask. He's quite interested in working with us.
Oh, yes, please then. That's
Basically,
two
I
for
tried
one.
to persuade him. Basically, we said we want to go UK wide. And suddenly I think I piqued his interest that we said we want to do it for the whole of the UK.
Yeah.
How if we went Arden route, how we could probably, and that's UK mesh.
Well, it sounds like there's two potential talks there, but the Essex one, self-interest. I would love the Essex guy to come on, because I think that is building off that is a natural thing for what we're doing with in the mesh world.
I think that is possibly. I probably could try and dig a little bit further deeper, a few other people. But it's like I know Vic said about the Arden one, that I think they run Arden around here. So I think that is possibly.
I did have another idea of something, but the person just disappeared who I was going to suggest, because I know Vic's building a power supply at the moment. That could be an interesting talk as well.
I have a feeling Vic has many projects and things that he does that would actually turn into good talks.
Could we possibly then say once every couple of weeks, let's have show and tell night?
I mean, Francis also mentioned, there was I did a rush of them, and then we've obviously got a bit of a break. Do we want to limit how many we do each month at the moment, just so we can spread them out a bit? I'm not saying they have to be specific dates, but do we want to say maybe just do 2 a month for the moment?
2 months sounds good. I mean, so far we've got, if we write a single email, a well-phrased email to select people, so far we've got TX Factor, DX Commander, the Freestar Network, GM6DX, 2E1 Oscar from Freestar, G7 RPG /M0HOY, Andy Taylor for PyStar, M0 MSN, I've just written kitchen for some reason, M0 TBR.
Sorry, can you go back to the PyStar one?
Yeah.
Isn't the K4 G4KLX or something? He's involved in some of that, isn't
I'm
it?
just writing it down, and someone can research it properly.
G4KL something. He's Jonathan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. From our server. Yeah.
So we might be able to ping him something.
M0BOI, my friends Nathan, Portable Ops, Arden, and join the newsletter to encourage people to come forward.
I would also like to try and poke M0LTE or M5ET to talk about Gilwell Park, because I think there's a little bit of.
Yeah, we need something from Stu. Stu are one of those guys to talk about what the cadets are up to.
I think that would generate that would be a talk that would generate interest, because it is the scouts, and if you tweet it out right, you'll get scout leaders.
There's a RSGB Yoda meeting this month or the end of next month. Came up in the news today.
Are you going to be involved in that, Robin?
Not up to now, no.
I don't know.
No.
I wonder if there's someone else I might be able to.
If we're going to write a message that we're going to send out, can we also put it on the notice board for members?
Yeah, I've put newsletter shout out as the next line.
And the other thing is, could do what I did, where put a message on your personal tweets, Facebook and things. So if we had a short message that we could write out, but if you're going to do that, you need to be the point of contact for that.
Yeah, that's the same on the Facebook page. I guess we'll see the retweet of it anyway. So
no, but if you put it on your personal or your Twitter, you need to be the contact for anything that comes back, sort of thing.
I would also might be able to try and get the youth coordinator for the ISGB. Might be able to have a chat with Andy.
So we're going to say that we have club nights on moving forward. We have club nights on Zoom. live streamed on YouTube in parallel. And then if presenters come along and they want to take the video and remodel it to present on their own channel, they're welcome to.
Oh yes, I think, yeah, definitely.
That seems
Yeah,
like a
it-
win-win-win. We get
I think
everything.
that would
that way.
come and
Explanation
give us
is
some time, let them
good for
take some
everyone.
photos.
I think we've got to hit all the social media for when we decide we're going to do it, and we get them to agree a date and time. Get it on Facebook, get it on Twitter, get it on all these places up front. Don't wait to post the link, because people make other plans, and this idea that we only put the thing up an hour before is not going to be conducive to getting a big crowd.
That's fair enough. That works.
Plus the fact, any guests that have their own channels, invite them to invite their own people.
Well, exactly. They're going to put their own, maybe they want to live stream on their own channel as well.
Yeah.
And that way they've got the opportunity to promote it on our behalf as well.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts? Ian, what would you, if you could pick any topic, what would you, have we covered them?
No. As comparatively new to the hobby, coming in blind, traditionally you would have a local club that you could go to, and somebody there would say, this is 2 meters, this is VHF, this is whatever, or this is RTTY, or this is slow scan TV, or I hear utter Swahili from you people. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Somebody who does talk about the Swahili of the hobby, which is to you perfectly normal, but from somebody who has no idea, a getting started talk for people. I hear all the time, there's thousands of these M7s and nobody's out there talking. Well, nobody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, lately I'll agree with that, because I knew nothing about this until May last year. So everything I know.
To be honest, that was my experience as well a number of years ago.
I see on social media that there's an awful lot of M7s asking quite straightforward questions of your type, Ian. That, I've done this, but I don't really understand what I'm doing or what's available to me.
Normally, you go to a club and they give you a steer, or
no, they don't, Ian. No, not at all.
You were
not even slightly. Not even slightly.
I'm glad I'm in the right club then.
Yeah. No, so, and I don't mean anything negative, but there is newbie fatigue that you get having been in a club for a while. So I'm very happy to have new people in the club and in the community, in this community especially. But at my local club, it's kind of the same thing, but it will always be the same 2 or 3 people who will help people. And there's only so many times those 2 or 3 people are going to a club once or twice a month to go and exchange and have a chat with people. But every single meeting ends up being saying hello to a new person, and the club isn't really set up generally for actually doing anything with radios. So what you end up with is 1 or 2 people having a very vague conversation with a person who doesn't really know anything, and then they fizzle off. Or these clubs are not a structured environment. They weren't.
That's what I was thinking. If you had somebody who knew what they were talking about, doing a little bite size of, right, this is RTT, or this is the slow scan TV. This one looks like you might be into this, or this is talking to the satellites. Or I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah. I think you've hit a gold vein there, because I think this could feed into several things. So a few of us know 1 or 2 specific modes, for example, and we could make a little bite-sized thing for it. But we could maybe do a weekly or a bi-weekly thing where we pick up a specific.
I was going to say, there's some really good news, and you won't know what open study means, but go on, Paul.
Yeah. This is a sort of perfect thing that this other study area that we're looking at doing is going to feed into. So basically, at some point, we'll have a group meet, even just once a month, or once a fortnight or something. And basically, if someone comes in like Ian and says, "What the hell is Hellschreiber?" Right, we'll find some videos. We'll get something together for the next week. Put it all together. We'll come up and we'll do a talk on it.
Yeah. So
Well,
if we got enough information between us, we'd do it live. Yeah.
So we'd have a set. The idea is we have a set kind of. We have an open study group that anyone can be in, and then we have a number of topics that people suggest that they're interested in or they've not known about. Then we have a vote, and whatever wins in that study group, we will then go and produce a video explaining how to do that. And that video will go up into an archive that people can just view whenever they want to view it. And we're building up that repository of
that's useful, because then you would, if for instance somebody said, I can't even pronounce what he just said, but if I came across that, there was somebody for me to go and reference it and look for it, that'd be ace.
So basically, some of the things we'd use in the open study group would be Foundation Intermediate and the full course material. You know, we've got no qualms with reusing something if you haven't understood it the first time. But also, if you're coming back into the hobby and you want to get your G6 call sign back from 1983, we'll guide you and point you in the right direction for that. If you just returned, you want to know about DMR, right? We'll figure it out with you, and we'll and do it as a group. You know, just this week there's been people talking about filters on the antenna group, and you know, I've put a question in there. Although don't ask about the 8-meter antenna; it's not working at the moment. But yeah.
The difficult part is that early engagement and avoiding fatigue in that engagement, because everyone gets the license on their own time frame, and everyone gets ready to ask the questions on their own time frame. And when newly licensed people are ready to ask the questions, it might not coincide with when people are ready to talk about it. So how we manage that first bit, in my head, there's no two ways about it. That's something we need to do something.
Which is a great advantage of the Discord server, because if you ask the question, there's somebody amongst us can answer it. Now Tom is forever answering questions on people's antennas. He does a fantastic job. The times I've seen him repeat exactly the same thing to new people time and time again, but he's patient and he deals with these people and they learn from it.
And I think the ultimate for me will be, once we've got the foundation course done and running, I would love 2 weeks after, or a week after it now, because of the way that how fast they're going through it, to have a Pass Plus session. And that Pass Plus session basically funnels people into the open study group. The Pass Plus session basically goes through what radio you're going to get, signposts you to the DMR, D-Star and all that stuff, the FT8 stuff, the basic antenna stuff. Kind of like that Pass Plus week funnels you into the open study stuff where you can get access to all that and push stuff forward. But it's probably 6 months before we've got everything settled. It's just
I mean, for example, I want to pinch the playbooks for Foundation Intermediate Advanced to look at what's in there and see where we go with that. I'm not saying I'm going to use the whole content, but I just want to see.
Yeah, but we will have 3 courses plus all of the talks we'll have had today, plus all of the resources we already know about externally between us. And hopefully those talks can feed into who we get to come and present things. So yeah, I wish we could fast forward 6 months, Ian, to be honest, just so we could do it for you. But
no, I mean, that's why I'm here, is to throw in
the other thing.
Sorry, Paul. Sorry, Ian. Go on. Say it.
The other thing is a little bit more casual. Is we do cover any topic during pub nights as well.
Yeah. Sorry.
We need any topic at that point.
Is it a raspberry pi or a pie?
Oh yeah, pub night.
Just on a very quick one, I have just tweeted Net Manchester and Net London, which are ISP like meetup groups, because some of them have had radio talks, to see if I can tempt 1 or 2 of theirs who do communications at high end, but actually they've still got a lot of radio amateurs who do the talks.
Cool.
So
sorry guys, we Ian was finishing a point.
Sorry, Ian.
We talked over him.
No, I think I've forgotten what my point was. But
I think you were saying that's why you were here anyway.
That's why I'm here, is to put that you have a big influx of people.
Yeah.
Who are, if you have something in place for that, if you have a channel on the Discord, or if you have that in place, I mean, I went out and bought a DMR radio, and the nearest DMR repeater to me is miles away because I didn't know. I didn't know to look. I didn't know where to look. So there's all sorts of.
I did the same. Here's my £200 mistake.
Yes.
Yeah, my DMR repeater is there.
I
that's it.
at the house.
But
You
yeah.
hear all about all-star nodes, and then you hear about
DVM.
them things. I know what they are now, but I have no
Mul-
idea what they are.
Multi-mode digital voice modem.
Yes, those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, but do you need a duplex one? What's the difference between a duplex one and
No,
a simplex one?
A simplex
It's
one
like-
is fine.
These are the questions that you don't know.
The duplex is harder to drive.
And also, duplex is only going to be any use to you if there's two people in the house.
And then they shouldn't be operating it because only one person should be using the station.
Maybe, but the thing is, I think the open study thing's great if you want a very structured thing. But I think what Ian's saying, and I kind of, I've got my full, but I still am relatively new, and I still find that there are loads and loads of modes and things I don't know about. But it would be cool if feeding all these things together, if we could find synergy. So people who are going to give talks, if we had people do a little talk on a, I don't know, particular mode, like you mentioned, the MVVM, whatever the hell it's called.
MMDVM.
If it's that, and we have a talk on it, but it's all videoed, people can refer to it at any time, and they can, without having to join it like an open course or something, if you just suddenly have an interest in DMR, and there happens to be a video on it, then you go look at it.
Oh yeah, no, that's, I mean, like the Open Uni is open course. When it's open study, it will have a whole library. We'll have end up building a massive library that people can just go.
How will we do that?
And
Is it only going to be in Discord, or is it going to be on the website? Or
It'll be probably
Right, at the moment, all I've got is a 1.5 page document with ideas of what we could do. It's not going to be as structured as a full license course, but it's not going to be just turn up and in 5 minutes we'll explain everything to you.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the club having a knowledge base, and we
So we use at the moment in the training courses we use all kinds of stuff. We use hidden YouTube videos cross-linked into Google Classrooms.
Right.
We use the wikis. We use all kinds of stuff. So it would be whatever form makes it the most easy to populate. And I would imagine it'll end up being a wiki that's incorporated into the website, which is appropriately tagged to let people.
That sounds like a very good idea.
Yeah, that would be so. People, there is a knowledge center.
A short talk of like what is All-Star. I mean,
because
the newbies to go looking for it, and then they would find it, rather than asking the same questions over and over.
The problem is we end up with the same kind of. One of the other challenges we've got, right, because there's a series of videos that I've been meaning to do about the club itself, like because there is no like the induction to the club, like welcome, this is what it means when we're a community without a committee, this is when we do this is how we do this, blah 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 blah. And there's like a series of communications around, well, how do we do training, or where will this information be? To a lot of people, they just know it's a Discord. They just see the chat server. It's an interesting one. Communicating has always been a difficult one.
That's the hobby.
I know. Well, the hobby is just a group of rowdy old people shouting at each other by most of the time. So,
The hobby's been working on communicating for 100 years. So that's how difficult it is.
Yeah. That's HF. No, but yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so that's moving in a good direction. That's the main thing, I think.
We do keep a lot of things kind of secret, so I would like to be able to see the courses and stuff. I would be interested to help. At the moment, my amount of time I can spare is pretty limited, but I don't know how much time is required or anything because I can't see any of it. I can't get into a class as a guest or anything because
that would be ethically wonky to open up a classroom to let other people look into. But if we did a YouTube video saying, this is the training, this is what we do, this is how it works, we spend about this amount of time doing this, it would, again, it would address it.
Yeah, but by the same token, Francis, if we've got somebody who's offering their services,
Oh, they'd be welcome to come
what
along.
they do, there's nothing wrong in inviting them into.
Oh, yeah, no, they're, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, we do that anyway. If anyone offers to help, we add them to the training.
I think also looking at it, we are barely a year old, and what we've achieved in that 1 year, we've suddenly gone, right, suddenly we're doing training. We now got PBX, we now got Digital Bridge. We've kind of just gone, well, 6 months, we've kind of created the whole of the community in less than a year. And I think sometimes after a while, once we've got it founding, opening it up a little bit would be good. And I think sometimes showing a little bit what we do him. I still think also when I know I volunteered for a couple of the videos to take part in, I think we need to push ahead with that soon. And actually go with it and talk about it. I think we'll draw in a few more people. Oh, we're only 9 months old. Christ.
Yeah. 9 months. I honestly think that has to be the priority for this.
We've gone through our gestation period. We are now a baby.
I think that has to be the priority for the coming month, is getting those, this is what's going on, kind of the intro to stuff. So the intro to training that says, look, we do foundation, intermediate, this is what's involved. If you want to get involved, we want you to come along, even if you can only give a couple of hours to help promote it. This is who you need to speak to, and they're very happy to help you. If you want to have a go on the Digital Bridge, these are all the things. This is how you can do it. If you want to get onto the SIP network, this is it. If you want to be involved in the community, if you have an idea, you don't need anyone's permission. You put it forward. We help you develop your idea. This is how we do it. Those videos are probably, I think, the priority. I think
that's also because we're starting to show people, actually, this is why an online club works. And a lot of the members we get, they will not, some of them will not find home in a normal club and they don't fit in. But actually, as soon as someone's having trouble with a club, we get mentioned. I know somebody on Twitter got really fed up with contesting, and actually someone go have a chat with, go join these guys, us. If you've got problems, ask them. The community's there for you. And I know that person's followed through because I saw them join the other day.
Yes, I know what you mean now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do as well now.
Oh, I don't.
Well, yeah, I know because you said hi to them. I'm pretty sure. Begins with A.
Yeah,
that's fine. But no, well, that's the thing, and we need to make sure that we're damn clear that this isn't Facebook, and if someone is bitchy or undermining of someone, the answer is probably they get kicked out immediately, because that attitude just doesn't cut it here.
Right.
But we do need to get to let people know that they can do what they want, and if they want to do things, they can. And I think there'll be a lot of people, and I think Stuart's one of them, that's hovering on the edge, would enjoy doing more, but not sure how to go about it. And then once you're in, how to say, I can't do it. Well, you just say, well, I can't do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but it's that. Yeah, we need to get those done.
Well, I'm reluctant to commit to something if I can't keep it up. That's my problem. I don't like letting people down, and I don't yet know how big a commitment it would be. So I don't want to commit to something I ain't sure I can actually do.
So just to answer the question about how much commitment it is on things, on the training courses, the only thing we need people to actually do is help deliver the slides, and that is an hour a week for the intermediate.
That's what they told me.
And generally what we do is we have whenever we plan out the upcoming course, we have Robin's created a spreadsheet where there's just like the 7 weeks, and we all just put our names against the week we can do. So Stu does 1 week in the other Stu, I can't remember his call sign, M0MM, blah, blah. He does 1 week out of the 7. Me and Robin end up doing like 14 weeks out of 7 or something stupid. This time Lance is helping out, but it's planned well in advance. So if you can sit in and be the co-trainer, on one session in that 7 weeks, it's just an immediate help. And
I can do that, I think. Now I've got my schedule for this semester. Mostly I'm teaching on Tuesdays. So everything up till Tuesday is blocked out. But by the end of Tuesday, my brain's frazzled with that shit. So I'm not going to be doing anything else work-wise. So after about 6 o'clock on Tuesdays, I'll probably be okay. Maybe even
So-
Wednesday.
Well, why don't you sit in on a session on Wednesday?
So
Yeah, well, Tuesday night would be the best for me probably, but or Wednesday could be done. I don't know, but what level would you have in mind?
So the problem is with this intermediate course has been booked to be Tuesday. The Zoom talks are all on Wednesday evening now for the period.
Wednesday then.
So this is, by the way, if anyone is watching or hasn't been involved and does watch this after the event, this is how easy it is to get involved. I've added you to the training team on Discord, so you'll now see a channel called Trainer 2021.
Okay.
And what I'll do is if you go into Trainer 21 and click on the pin up at the top, you'll see a link to the training schedule. You won't have access. Paul will have to sort you out with access, actually, I think. But Paul will set you out with access, and you can get access to all the training material. You give you access to the Google Drive where it all is, and you can have a look at the schedule.
All I need is a Google enabled email address.
Okay.
And he'll sort that out. But we've got, at the moment, we've got Lance and Robin are doing the next 2 weeks. And then I have the only me on my own on the 3rd of March. So having someone along there is so yeah, probably worthwhile going to one in the next couple of weeks if you have the time. Talk to us on Discord. But if
Let's
you can come to
try
one,
next Wednesday if you're on it with Robin, and I'll sit in with you and see how it is, and take it from there. Huh?
awesome.
Lance, you're running it.
Yeah.
Which one's out? The 24th
I don't know what's the next Wednesday.
or this Wednesday the 17th?
Yeah, whatever the next one is.
Yeah.
17th, yeah.
Technical Basics Part 1.
Pardon? Technical
Basics Part 1.
Ah. Okay.
Fun times. Inductors, resistors in AC circuits, I think.
Yeah, it's a fairly simple one.
Yeah.
The other thing for the newsletter, if before Mitchell mentions it, obviously pub nights are weekly at the moment while we're still in lockdown.
I'm possibly going to discuss tomorrow dropping Friday nights.
I can still handle that if necessary.
If not, what I'm looking at is I'd much rather keep to a Saturday.
I think there was a few people who couldn't ever do Saturday, so that's why
I think that was originally because of the work commitments, but I'm going to review it again because
for now the first Friday and then the other ones are all
the first
Saturdays.
Friday, but that may change depending on the restrictions. Will change, but the pub night I think has been a very good success. And
Are the yeah, no, absolutely. That's an absolute winner. Everyone's always there.
I would agree that Saturdays, I personally think Saturdays are better. Well, it could be Saturdays or Friday, but I would prefer you stick to the exact same day because nobody has to think about when it is. It's just like, oh, it's every Saturday.
What originally happened, it used to be Fridays, but for the reasons I'm not going to mention while this is being recorded and my political views on it, we unfortunately had to, because of the UK lockdown, I decided that due to more for mental health purposes for people, I thought, right, let's have a pub, we'll make it every week. I've got nothing else to do on a Saturday. When I had a girlfriend, I couldn't go see her, so I had nothing else to do. And I thought Saturday was it meant people had something to look forward to in a week, and it kept a regular club feeling to it.
Yeah.
And I think at one point, the highest we got up to is about 15, 18 people at one point. And that is saying an achievement, actually, to have that many people on a club night is pretty good. And I think that is something, it's quite cool. It's very easy work for me and Paul a lot, really. Well, when Paul sets it up correctly. But I think that's actually the other thing at some point I might introduce later on is once every so often a show and tell event to allow people that isn't pub night, but if they're having problems to come and a few of us can try and help them fix their problem.
Mm-hmm.
So if they say my radio's making a funny noise, a few of us could actually have a crack at it, where we're not drunk, or Paul's not been drinking steadily by the hour beforehand.
Maybe make that the first thing at the pub night before we're drunk. That's what you mean.
The problem with pub night, by that point, most people are pretty knackered.
Yeah, maybe you're right. No, I get it. I get it.
The other thing, I think Francis mentioned about doing a video for the introduction. That could also be good for some of the accessibility stuff. You know, if it instead of just having text, it's audio. Maybe what's the one? Screen captions and things.
Yeah,
so that could be quite useful, having that video, just even to show them how to do it. Just to know how to change the nick and how to.
How to log it.
Even if it's just like a minute long, but we've got all the usual accessibility options on it.
Yeah, and here's a Discord help page. Go poke Discord, and they'll tell you how to do it.
And if it doesn't work, poke one of these comreps.
Yeah, and we'll happily help.
I was going to say, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll just go. We'll just do it for you. It's fine.
Usually Simon's on the ball, but I don't want to name anyone in case he's not around one day and then someone gets ignored for ages. So,
well, when you're actually in the airlock, I've now changed the permission. So once you register, you lose the airlock. So as far as the airlock is concerned, the only people you'll see online, apart from yourself, are community.
I had spotted that the other day, which is quite useful.
So the only people, and that was so that we could do at here as part of if we needed to mop up why people were having trouble. Remember we said last time, we wanted a way to be able to shout to just those who had joined the server but never signed up, as it were.
Potentially there's over 100, but there are some reps who are not online at the moment, so that's going to be less than that.
Yeah.
How's the text promotion going for Radcom and PW and all that? Because I haven't seen it in a while.
It's still as a 2D.
The longer it goes on, because obviously we've just had the election thing come through, and obviously in the next Radcom they're going to put in all the election stuff for the presidents and the board of directors and all that crap.
It's not been written up yet. This is the problem of so much to do, so little time. All my time has been delivering the intermediate and assisting with the foundation and work, to be honest.
No, that's right.
Work's just been a bit mental.
I'll try and pick up some of that intermediate thing if I can.
I've got 2 weeks off the intermediate because Robin and Lance are doing the next 2 sessions, but then a lot of that's going to be shifting to topping and tailing the foundation stuff, which is I need to do for Monday. But then I should have a week free. But then I've been charging up my free plastic, my little handy cam, because I needed a better quality camera for video. Problem with this is it shows all the lines, whereas this webcam, perfect.
I thought you had a lot of different filters you could sit on that thing.
Do one of them. I'll be a potato. It's fine.
Right, there you go. Nobody cares about the lines on a potato.
So but actually no, the white balance on this is a bit rough. It seems to wash out a lot, but
just put some Vaseline over the lens.
I would also say, going forward on the PBX note, if people are not part of the community and want to be on the PBX, I am allowing applications at this stage, but you become the primary contact at that point for that person. Because there's 1 or 2 people who I do say to them, you need to come join us, but I'm not going to exclude you. The
PBX got access to thingy as well, didn't it? Ham Shack Hotline, that's new.
Oh, I need to finish breaking that.
You might want to leave that out for this newsletter.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is coming soon.
Well, we can put it as we've been trialing.
We're trialing it, but it is open to. I'm going to allow it to be open, but it's not I'm not going to make a big press statement over it. It is bullet. If members know other people who would like to join that, I will happily accept. Just at this stage, more. It's not a big project. I really want to go like Handshake Hotline size, but if there's other UK amateurs who feel they would benefit from being on there, I'd much rather say this is part of my community outreach.
So we're kind of opening things up just enough to draw people in and see where things can go.
It is a draw people in, but the PBX is running pretty sweet, and for the purpose of the call, I would like to thank Lance and Matthew for their efforts with me. We are building it, and if you've seen Handshake Hotline's BLF lights, I have no intention of getting rid of them anytime soon. But I think that's
Rick Ashley.
I was checking you were still there.
We've forgotten the other big news about PBX.
what, the fact Lenny's still there.
No, the 1300 net.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was actually going to be a question. Is that sustainable? Because it's filling up my diary. Is it happening?
It is every day.
It's actually happening. Fair
We
enough.
can always remove it from the calendar, but just promote it within the SIPNet.
I don't know. That was the only thing. So I've set up one of those mirror screens where it's not actually on a mirror though. It's downstairs, Raspberry Pi that just has the club diary on, and I keep looking over every day and going, is that actually happening?
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Every day probably gets
If you scroll back to today, I even put a note on that I couldn't attend today, but there were people that apparently on.
There's a
Fair
few
enough.
people who I hadn't heard before on it. Suddenly it's like, okay.
And okay, some of the people who've got the sidecars on their Cisco units and things, they don't necessarily join straight away, but then because it's flashing, they go, "Oh, I'll join in now." So
Join in. Fair enough.
Thought about me.
We even actually did link the bridge to the PB to the pub night as well half the time when I could remember to do it.
No, that's cool.
yeah, what?
Yeah, that's cool.
And that's got the brilliant number 1 pub.
One pub. I need to make sure that we include pub.oarc.uk in the newsletter. Speaking of links, shop.
Merch.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't do anything on it last pub night because I kind of forgot, but
You're
by the
drunk.
time I remembered, I'd had a few beers. But
So do we say we have set up a merch shop with Spreadshirt that will allow you to order custom clothes and blah 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 blah,
custom merchandise
and other merchandise featuring the OARC logo and your own text,
custom text, yeah,
and custom and that we're trialing Spreadshirt at the moment, and people are welcome to order from it.
yeah.
So if we put it like that it's a new thing that's live now, and
if anyone has any issues, poke me.
Poke hole, yeah.
I've put it down so there is no profit for us, but if for any reason it does pick up any profit, it will go into the club's PayPal.
Yeah, it's just an advertising thing.
Is
really.
there a way of tracking it just so we can see how much it does pick up?
Yeah, there's 2 orders so far.
If only we knew
Right.
somebody at Trespass and we could do some kind of a deal. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on,
Or
David.
get your call sign on your tent.
For mobile operations.
But you know what? You're laughing. I would love a vinyl sticker for the car.
If you're on the thing on Saturday, we'll see if we can. I think the sticker's already on there, but we can make sure it's right.
Oh, is it those stickers?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not having the back of the car with the Ham Lord on the back of it.
I've got a white van because I use it for transporting stuff around for the local club, and because no kids, so why not? Although it sounds dodgy.
So you're looking for a merchandise van.
No kids are kept in this van overnight.
Yeah, Francis, you've now ensured this is not going on YouTube.
Unfortunately, Francis, you're the type of person I hate now because I drive around and white vans always cut me up. Or
Yeah,
they just
it's
pull
fine.
out in front of me.
I've only got a work. I've got a work van, not because I need one for work, but just because I just
To annoy
like
you.
to have. I like to have boot space, to be honest, and a little white van is plenty of space. When we have field days and stuff, I just like being able to go out with all my stuff comfortably and then turn the back of the van into like a little sleeping bag area and somewhere to have my lunch and that kind of stuff. Why not? It's
Yeah.
a little white van for
I've
me.
been considering something similar myself, but
Yeah.
I used to have a pickup truck with a hard top on the back, and that was brilliant, but not very tall. So
And bonus points if you can order a shirt with the 14 Club call signs on the back.
Well, I'd been looking at a mini. I'd considered a minivan, and then I'd considered a 4x4 or a Range Rover type thing. And then I was like, you know what, sod it. If I get a little Renault Kangaroo van, they last forever, and there are spare parts for days. Kangaroo. But there are spare parts for days, so I'll just go for that, and it'll do my job. Anyway,
the Land Rover you'll be bored with, within a week.
Well, you'll spend all your time fixing it anyway.
Yeah, but you can actually get them up the side of a mountain as Top Gear did. So
yeah, that's true.
I can try to take my van up and give it a go.
That's true, but the battery runs flat every 5 minutes. When I used to work, we had other works Land Rover. For some reason, every year, if you don't use it every single day, the battery always ran flat. We had to charge it every single time or jump start it every single time. And because the million batteries in the freaking seat, trying to jump start it in a car park was a nightmare.
Land Rovers are way overrated.
Yeah. What was I going to say? So one other thing to mention is we have currently 2 Zoom accounts running in parallel for a very short period. We've got one account that's now been set up for a year, which is the new accounts at OARC account.
Are these paid accounts?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So we've got a paid account set up for the year. The foundation, the latest intermediate course, paid for the full year's worth of Zoom because it's £5 a head.
We should probably explain before the course is paid for the monthly one. Yeah. Then we realised it would be cheaper to get an annual one, so that's what we did.
We actually had a problem where we had 2 accounts running in parallel. We needed 2 accounts because the full is running on the same day as the intermediate, but it's only got a 2-month overlap.
Yeah.
So because we took in we had the intermediate course, and we asked people to put a £5 in, and the reason we asked for a £5 is because we had a lot of people signing up, and then we always lost like 10 or 15, so we were losing spaces. So a £5 isn't enough to cost anyone any significant money, but it's enough to hold a place.
And it's also enough to focus their mind a little bit. They may not drop out.
Yes, that was the idea. So we had 40 people apply for the intermediate that we're running now. In total, £170. There are exceptions if you're an adult, if you're under 18, or you're in full-time education, or if there are reasonable circumstances that a trainer signs it off.
They're really hot.
Yeah. Well, no. If you're a significant hardship, basically, then we can waive it. But they paid £170, and that's completely paid for a year of Zoom. In terms of club finance, as it were, we currently have £880.84 in the bank.
And obviously, because we've paid for the Zoom now for a year, that's not going to be touched for a while.
It's only ticking over. It's currently ticking over the DigitalOcean account, which hosts the website and all of the cloud logs at the moment. And that's about it at the moment, because everything else has been moved off. So in a month or 2, it might be worthwhile spending some time looking at whether that needs to exist as it does. Because before it was hosting part of the digital bridge, and now it's not. So, but it's only that's only like a few quid a month.
It's probably something worth having, because it's something the community's always going to need storage space, and if it costs an ongoing nominal sum, I think it's one of those assets that it's important that no one owns and that the community owns.
I always say website staff should not be they should be not held by one individual. The PBX is slightly different, but the website stuff, I would say maliciously, the worst I can do with the PBX is turn it off. That's as much. Website, I can then refuse to hand back domain control. I could then refuse to hand back the website.
Yeah.
None of us, I hope no one is malicious, but I think that should be held for the cost of it. To be honest, you're talking a neglectful amount of money that no one would notice, £4 or £5 a month.
with the stuff that's on Google as well. I hope at least someone's got a copy of it regularly.
Yeah,
I haven't taken
But
a copy, but
the
I'm the one who's holding it. So if anything happened, I want someone else to make sure they've got a copy.
Yeah. Well, that's it. The finance, the PayPal account, which owns everything, has got 2 people who have access to it, and it's behind 2-factor authentication. And my password's 28 characters long as well, just for fun. Mixed everything. But people can, if something was to happen to the digital ocean, and if I was to go crazy, a number of you all have access to the email account that's behind it, and Stu has access as a second PayPal person. So it's recoverable if I get hit by a bus tomorrow. Let's say. No, if I win the lottery and say sod you all and go away, someone can recover it very easily without me.
I do want, I was saying, the funny thing is we said about funding the digital bridge, yet we all managed to fund it within about 3 hours.
Yeah.
That was...
Their discussions were longer than it took to fund it.
Yeah, the process.
And at the same time, there's quite a good handful of donations come in from people who've passed their exam and were happy with the training bill.
Yeah. Well, we had a very substantial, I'm not going to name names because I don't know whether they would want that, but one of the people who passed their intermediate gave a donation of £100 to the community,
Jesus,
which was a substantial
Yeah.
sum.
And at the time, I did ask Francis if that was right and everything, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'll be messaging him. It's fine."
Yeah.
I tell you what, when I paid the amount I paid, I thought I ain't been to a club for X amount of years. The amount my club I'm not used to bridge yet, but I looked at also the cost to actually. I've not been to a club for so long. I've saved money. The training. When I said to my brother, who is going to be on our M0 on our full course, as well as me, he went only a £5. That's so cheap. That's barely petrol money. Yeah. Which.
But yeah, it's meant to be free
because we don't know whether the course is any good yet.
Yeah, the cost of the course is only really for us, 1, to fund Zoom, which is done anyway, and 2, to make sure you're not going to pull out.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, also at some point next year we've got the RSGB fee to pay again.
Oh, a whole 50 quid.
Yeah, that was funded in about
that was
like 5 hours.
I don't think it was even that. I think it was do we want to? Oh, we've done it. And no, you're right. Actually, the bureaucracy that I always insist on, which is in the Constitution, of going through the process of people agreeing that we want to do something and voting on it, takes longer to go through than funding half the stuff we want to do. I think it's important everyone gets a voice and a say on it. But
and an interesting point we came up with in the training thing, but Mitchell kind of wants to do it, so we need to get him on the full. Is we've been talking about getting an OV for a special event station.
Oh yeah.
Just put down early discussions for a special event station.
Did the remote station stop at the same time?
And yeah, there are discussions still about remote station, but we're looking at either doing it for when we 1 year old, or when we reach 1,000 members.
I was torn between let's try and get it for both, but the issue we've got, if we go for 1 year old, I've not got time to get a full license because somebody.
Oh no, you can operate it. It's fine. What we'll do is
I did say that we could supervise.
Yeah.
Because I would like to, once lockdown allows, if we can have it from multiple places, we are a UK-wide club.
Okay, so do we think with all the people here, and doesn't even need to be a vote, and it's necessary to say if you think it's a good idea to do it for when we're a 1 year old?
Yes.
Or should we wait for 1,000 members?
I don't know why we don't just do both.
I really want to do both.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should
the reason is, I want to do a bit of trolling. Oh, this is on the video, but we can. You know, them letters we like. Them letters we like are currently available.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, that's fine. I know exactly.
Yeah.
Let's not say it anymore. But why not do both? But make the 1 year anniversary the one we try and get as many people involved in as we can. because that's
Why not promote it as 1 year old and 1,000, but we're 200 short?
on a what?
Promote being 1 year old, but at present we're 200 short for 1,000. We'd like to combine it.
Yeah. Well, when is our anniversary date again? I haven't
End of
looked
May.
at the server birth.
It's on the
29th, is it?
it's on the calendar.
On the calendar.
I put it in the calendar.
I'll tell you what, I remember when there was only about 15 people when I joined.
Joe, I remember when it was all just fields around here.
I remember when there were one.
I remember when there were 700 odd people when I joined.
I
haven't
might
met any of them.
Trust you one day. I was like, online radio group.
Oh, hang on, it's not letting me do it.
Friday the 28th of May.
Yeah. Because I joined on the 29th.
So maybe we do it. We ask for the NOV for the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Do we want it maybe see if we can get I think you can have up to a month, can't you? So do we want it a couple of weeks before, a couple of weeks after?
What, for the
Well,
month
you
of
don't want
May?
it before, do you, really? You probably want it on or after.
Okay, is what day is that? That's a Friday.
Friday the 28th.
So maybe 24th for a month?
Yeah. That works. But we'll need to put it through because it's directly affecting the club. So we need to propose it properly and everything. There I go with my red tape again. I can't see why if anyone objects to it, they need a slap. But
Hang on, no. If we're going through it properly, you have to have a full-blown argument, kick some people out.
Yeah.
Like in, parish council meetings, or we just
we need Jackie. Where's Jackie? Hang on, I'm Jackie, aren't I?
Paul, I thought you were Jackie.
There we go, sorted.
Have you read the standing orders?
He hadn't read the standing orders. Clearly, he hadn't.
I think all those that make power supplies during meetings should be kicked out.
Did you read the standing orders?
I think this just went over my head, right over my head.
That's probably a good thing.
My local council some refer to everyone as a banana. So they just been the local council's been controlled with a load of bananas on every of their posts. That's my local council. You pressed mine.
Don't look at mine.
I don't think that helped Vic at all. That explanation.
No, there's a bit more to it.
I think you slipped up there.
So we've got so much going on. I don't know. Do we? So the other thing I wanted to do, the one thing I wanted to do this month as well, is I wanted to do a survey to all those who ever did the first quiz on any of the training courses that we've asking if they stuck through it and if they passed. So that's on my to-do list for this month as well. We've got a lot going on. So is there any more really?
I think we've had a very busy 9 months so far, and I think sometime soon we're going to have to start slowing down. It's great to build everything, but I think once we've got our 3 courses running, we need to slow down a bit.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you just need to consolidate the courses into automating it as much as possible, so that we can. Yeah, I know you are, but I'm saying like then it's a scale issue. Once you can do that, maybe move over more to the MOOC methodologies, where they're sort of teaching themselves, and we become more like mentors and people to ask questions, but you're not normally directly involved all the time.
I'll be honest, my only objection to that is Essex Ham runs a little bit like that, and I'm not 100% sure the quality of their training actually.
Well, I've been on the, what was the other one? Not Essex Ham.
Bath?
Yeah, the Bath one. That's not a MOOC like I've been on. Like if you go on a Udacity course or a Coursera, I was on one with 700 people on it.
We were trying to move away from. We wanted to offer some. We're not trying to offer a training course that already exists. We wanted something to be unique about it. So we wanted it. We were trying to target it at people who were traditionally tactile learners who learnt from poking and playing with stuff, but who can't go to clubs as such. But and from group activity, from group work, and it kind of needs that. But actually, the intermediate course on this run is about 20 minutes on a Sunday and an hour once a week for 2 people. So the intermediate course has matured to the point where it's fine. The others will catch up. I kind of can see what Robin's saying, because we are rushing a lot, but we actually need time for people to catch up, so we have more people on board. So because I think there's 10 of us who are just running around like crazy people. And
That's
I think
what I'm trying to see if there's any ways that you could try to reduce the strain and in specific places, try to spread it about a bit.
Yeah.
From day one, the full course, I've designed it around a playbook. Everything's scripted now, so it's just a copy and paste onto Discord to put the notices on, and that's sorted.
Okay.
And after the foundation's that way as well. So we've learned from what Francis has done. So the 2 new courses are semi-automatic, but like Francis says, it's still time on the presentation, because that's what we're concentrating on. And I appreciate what you say, Stuart, that other people can do this, but I think we're offering something a bit different. We're offering a more friendly, more approachable area environment.
I get the feeling the training feels to me, I've not done the training yet, but the approach I get, I feel, is more club training style, that is a bit more traditional, and I think there's should be more engagement, because I sit there, and if I went for the Essex Ham, I'm trying to go for my theory at the moment, and I'm struggling with my theory for my driving, and that's because I've got no response from my instructor. No, I'm just not understanding it. Well, I can't ask anybody because I can't. I think that a lot of the workload, I'm hoping, will die down for everybody once we actually have done the first 1 or 2 courses. We're a bit more. The slide decks are created. The regiment has been created.
Yeah.
Well, I should shut up until I've been on one and seen what it's like, and then I'll revise my opinion accordingly. I'm just guessing by what I've heard.
The challenge we almost have is there's so much stuff we need to catch up on putting in place. Like, we didn't have a monthly community meeting, as it were, like this until now, and the newsletter was just getting banged out as and when we had so much stuff going on, we needed to put it somewhere, and the quality of it was represented in that. And we don't have the communication managed well. We don't have like a streamlined approach to sending messages out, communicating events that are going on, managing the calendar, documenting what we're doing and who's doing what and how you do what. And it's almost that because we're running so fast, we probably do need to stop to let everyone catch up and then progress again, potentially.
Yeah.
I wonder whether
at the end of the day it works. So.
I wonder whether then really we need to at some point say this is a month where there's no training, we are just calming down and we're starting to ramp up ready, that maybe once every so often, every 3 months, we need to say let's have a foul month where the regular events that happen like pub night go ahead, but nothing really.
I just think this month,
I think Mitchell, what you will want is enough trainers, for example, we have 3 trainers and they can do it, every 3 months, or 6 trainers, so they can do it every 3 months or something.
We're getting there. I think we're getting there, though. That's the thing. I just think, maybe doing foundation and full and potentially open whilst rehashing the intermediate may not have been the best. I think whilst approaching the Sea Cadets and the other guys.
I think the problem is we're all trying to prove a point a little bit with what we're doing, but also you take it like this year, they already said holidays, don't really plan one. Next year, might be totally different. And I think also we might suffer burnout of people, and that's my health concern, is people burning out over what they're doing, that the enjoyment factor goes.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest concern. I think we need to sometimes say this is once a month, let's have a month off. That really pub night continues, that's fine. That might get dropped down a little bit eventually, possibly, don't know yet. but we keep our regular events like training. We have a month off. Well, actually, we start to build our social media stream of this is when our training's restarting. Sign up, get ready, let's go for it. Let all the training out of the way, calm down for another month. Let people catch up, because sometimes you'll find people go off the foundation onto the intermediate. But if you said to them there's a month wait in the middle, go operate, go have a go. That's when your next training is.
But you do need gaps in the training as well, though, because sometimes people miss bits because they, from whatever happens in their life. And if everything's moved on, when they come back, they can't catch up and they end up dropping out because of that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, we already allow people to defer to different courses and things anyway, if they need to. So I've had a couple of people in the last intermediate who just life got in the way, and I just slide them over to the current one.
yeah, I don't mean that. I mean, like, if you've got, I don't know, a 3-month course, you do 3 weeks, then there's a week where there's no new extra information. And then you have another 3 weeks, and then another week of, and that week is for people to revise what they've already learned, catch up if they need to catch up, or they can go and do the operating and bits and bobs and stuff. But everybody, especially on a 3-month time frame, always has a little bit of something they've got to do on that particular day. I don't know what it could be, a family event, it could be a funeral, something that stops you from doing it. And if you're not careful, if everybody's moving all the way all the time, it gets to the point where you get more fallout that way, I find.
Yeah, no, that's true. I don't think we have any other big things coming up in a hurry, because the only other big thing we were aspiring for this year was subject to COVID, and that was having a field day.
Actually, we did discuss before about trying to do a what was it, EMF thing, and that would become quite late in the year. We were having a little chat about that on the pub night, so you might want to put that in a field day / EMF or something. I don't know. It's still under discussion.
There were two big national events that would have been nice, and that was field day and rally meetup.
Yeah, EMF won't be until next year anyway. So
yeah,
is it cancelled for this year already?
Yeah.
Just a thought. If other clubs are having online talks from people, have you thought about poaching them in as much as linking into them? You've got a whole wealth of people sitting around doing nothing who are locked in. If you can signpost people to talks, I don't know, pick a random amateur radio club. Blackpool Amateur Radio Club are doing a talk on seagulls or whatever. If you can
the best
signpost to them, you're going to get people from Blackpool. And you're also going to get people coming. And it's just an idea that you could fill the lounge or something.
The aspiration is we sit alongside traditional clubs rather than competing against.
Exactly, precisely.
So what you're saying is if our next talk is hosted on Discord and live streamed, other clubs could hook up to our live stream as a club.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think,
and equally both ways, so that you have people who.
So are we saying that we build up a distribution? This is another bit of work again, but we could build up a distribution list of clubs and just blanket them out, saying we have this talk coming up. You're welcome to join us on this.
If you have a talk, please let us know, and then you can put it on the lounge, and people could vice versa.
I think we've got to approach it quite carefully, because we've got the issue with another club by the same name. By the same initial.
No,
they don't have the same name.
Similar acronym.
Yeah, but the point I will make is that it created a hostility, and in some ways you've got, like, for example, Essex Ham that effectively tried to do what we're doing and hasn't progressed it. That some clubs we are a threat to, and they see us as a threat instead of a resource.
Well, I
can always say no, can't they?
Yeah.
And you could also put it to them and go, what we're saying is that
we've got the online experience.
You can promote your talk on our server. Some people may be locally situated where you are. Yeah. And then because we promoted on there, they can come to you when clubs come back, when you can physically visit.
Yeah. I think
so it gives them an advantage, and it's saying to them, we're not trying to take your local people, we're trying to point out UK-wide that people who may be in the
That's where I think we used to have the recommended recommended channel, which
Yeah,
went
for
dead.
clubs.
But possibly we could say to some of the clubs, would you like to us to put your details on our website, for example, if you've got talks or your club meets, but please let us know what you're doing.
Just mutual signposting.
Yeah.
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 And actually, sometimes if we know where people are members of other clubs, they already maybe know someone in person already, like through Discord, they know a call sign already on name. That possibly the signposting is, if you go to that club, you know someone, you potentially might know someone there already.
Well, we've got the region set up as well on Discord, so if we knew there was a talk going on by this club, we could especially flag it up to people in that region, potentially, just as a random thought. No, that's cool.
I'd probably say definitely there's probably some of the Scottish ones we could probably.
I know MCAS would be very happy to have guests in, but I signpost everyone from MCAS who wants training to us, because
no one would give a talk to M. Oh, hang on.
Oh yeah, you did. And vice versa. But I've got no problems quite yesterday. I do need to talk to. Well, what do you think? I think I need to have a brief chat with Pete before we launch the foundation. I'm split. I'm really
Be honest.
split.
Screw him. Do it.
Well, I'm really split because quite a lot of clubs have foundation training.
So
Essex Ham is an online slide deck training course
with
You're
really polished
physically in
YouTube
front of them.
videos that puts a lot of time in. It's a good course for a certain type of learner. And I think what we're doing complements it.
We pass a lot off to them, but we are a different approach to it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I think we complement our alternative approach complements what they do for a different type of learner. They've had about 3,000 people through their doors in the last 18 months. And of those people, they've got over 96% pass rate, which, to be honest, is because the foundation course, anyone can pass as long as they're confident in their ability. And they spend enough time with the material.
Personally, from what I can gather from what you're saying, I would say do it, but maybe send him a nice email saying blah, 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 blah. We are launching this. We are still willing to promote your course and vice versa if you would like. We think that our course would just complement it with different learners.
Well,
just explain that to him.
That's what I did with Steve Hartley for the intermediate and the full.
Yeah.
It was just a casual, just as a heads up, we've got for intermediate and full, and we were looking at doing a foundation. It won't be on the same scale as yours. It's focusing on the one-to-one time in the classroom, smaller groups, and we hope that it will add to the community and fill in the gaps for different types of learners. And then if ours takes off massively,
I would be honest. I think he's aware of what we're doing because he's on our Discord server.
Is he?
Yeah, he is there. M0PSX is actually on.
He has. I know he's in it, but I saw him join a long time ago. But I never actually
think he
seen him
pops
online.
Up now and then we don't notice unless it tells you when last online.
No.
I get the feeling he possibly pops up. He's aware of some of what's going on.
Fair enough.
But at the end of the day,
I think it's courses for courses.
When they started up their courses, do you think they bothered to tell anybody else who had a course?
No. I just very much take the approach of we should be adding value to the community in some way, shape, or form, and it should be a collaboration between providers rather than a competition type thing.
Well, I agree. I think that's true, but I don't think we are like that. But if they see it that way, I'm not sure that we'll be able to change their minds, just like certain clubs think that they have exclusive right to the acronym.
Okay, I'm happy. That argument wins me over. They either see that we're doing stuff with them or the dicks, and if the dicks, we don't need to give them the time of day.
I think the difference is if we're not running training, we signpost them to them. But really, you think about it.
I mean, I was so open with the GM60X stuff on Facebook. I think all of us say when we see, a lot of us say when we see people say, do we know of any intermediate training? Or I now do when I promote the intermediate course. I say this is a fast track course. You need to be pretty savvy. It runs at a very quick pace. By the way, GM60X does an online one if you prefer to learn through online email modules. And the Bath Distance team does a full course if you need that longer support. I actually do our promo as one and then do a comment with that on.
The other way of looking at it, though, is it's an online amateur radio club. Amateur radio clubs traditionally do training.
Yeah.
This is an online amateur radio club. It would be unusual for you not to do training.
Yeah.
It's just at a different scale because we don't have to worry about meeting up and all the rest of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the other thing you can do, Francis, is just put some bit of stuff on the website that says exactly what you just said. We offer these training courses. By the way, these other people offer, because they never go telling anybody about other people's stuff, do they? But
no,
if we say, if you want to go on the fast track,
the point is that you're recording this, it's going to go in the public domain. So there you go, it's done.
That's true. If they want to go and watch it, they can. That's fair enough.
Or they can even sign up on the Discord and find out all the stuff.
Yeah.
People they can do both.
www.oarc.uk.
Do that.
Tell people they can do both.
Yeah, of course you can. But the thing is that I've seen it myself on the intermediates, and people come in to do the intermediate, and our training hasn't been suitable for them.
Job done.
We said, well, obviously we're working too fast for you. Why don't you go and have a look at this one? So off to go.
Yeah, because it's not a competition. It's just about having fun in the hobby and getting progressing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the service. That's all we're doing.
And I don't see why Billy wouldn't be up for promoting vice versa. I'd be very surprised.
I think also with what's going on at the moment, that we've actually gone and create something different to a lot of clubs, and we've created a modern situation. We've adapted to the modern era. There's another club that, I'll be honest, I know in Hammersmith that I don't think it's going to survive, and they were a new club, and if I'm honest, their approach, they didn't get up to offering training, and I think that's where they kind of their leadership was awful. Whereas here we're a bit more right. We're going to do it. Let's do it. Let's get on with it. Why haven't we done it yet? And I think where we
have quite a few motivated people.
We're a bit more than a Facebook group. We're not like Essex Ham's actually quite dated. When you look at their content, there's nothing fresh. Whereas I wake up in the morning, there's probably 20, 30 messages to read still through our Discord. During the day, there's
only 20 or 30.
I'd say more than that.
Depending on what time you go to bed and what time you get up. There seems to be a night shift of us as well. But I think we have actually, with the training going forward, we offer it in a different manner to how people feel they would like to learn. And sometimes I think that's where evolve or die comes about, and that we've evolved.
My only concern for the future is what they do about foundation practicals, whether they bin them or what they do. But I don't think you can ignore the fact that about 2/3 of the people who have gone through their exam in the last year or two did not want to go to a club. And if you're going to pin the foundation behind a practical assessment, you need something new. You need practical assessors aren't tied to clubs, so you could have regional assessment offices and that kind of thing. But is it really, when you've got 4,000 amateurs operating without killing each other, is there really a need for the practical assessment? I'm hoping it'll just die out, to be honest.
Well, as well, if you want to kind of help with that, obviously, if you're an RSGB member, Dave Wilson's going up for a board membership. So push him to do that, and then it'll help put your case forward.
Well, I was also wondering what would they do about the future of exams as well, because it's hard to train to an exam. But then, if in the current system, are they going to go back? I don't know. I honestly hope that they leave it alone, keep it online, and then have the conventions with the paper option for people who need the paper.
I suspect they won't go back to the old way simply because A, it's too much work to reverse it all again, and B, there's too much momentum that there'll be an outcry if they try to get rid of anything that they've just implemented.
I think the only thing I think that they were saying they were doing was to remove the current system, and the guys from one of the VEs from America has offered to host it there instead.
Yeah, we need
So
to go
move
with
on
Test
for
Reach
that.
because
Yeah.
Test Reach is a loss leader for all their exams. So every exam that's sat, they're losing money.
Before COVID, they were moving to an online exam regime, didn't know what to do with practicals. COVID forced their hand. Question is, do we need practicals? Possibly, but possibly not, because that vacuum will be filled by useful YouTubes like Francis did for the club. Just that sort of thing.
Reality, you don't, because Ofcom don't require it.
But the reality is the practicals have all you do in the practical is you build someone else's station that has no bearing on the equipment you end up in front of you when you have the license. And
you solder
probably
a plug.
doesn't teach you how to use DMR or D-Star or anything that you'll actually do in the first month of having your license.
Like programming a radio, that's not part of the practical part, which
That's
is
the
more
funny
important.
thing as well. I heard some guys on the radio a couple of days ago complaining that people who don't do practicals now, they don't have any operating finesse. They don't know how to talk properly on the radio. And I'm like, pardon? That's actually part of the. I think.
Hang on. I haven't done a practical for my 4. Let me just see if I. Oh no, I can't. I just make noises.
I'll tell you what, you sit there. Some of the things they teach on the 2E, like soldering a plug, they should be doing on the foundation, so people solder them correctly.
They have.
Oh, they do that. That used to be on the foundation practical. You had to solder a PL259.
Yeah, but I moved it to the intermediate. I did mine on the intermediate, not the foundation.
Yeah, they got rid of it on the last version of the intermediate. Made the last version of the intermediate kind of useful, but then they scrapped it.
If you a plug on, you can buy the cables ready with plugs on already.
Wait, what? They removed that from foundation?
They removed soldering a plug onto intermediate. Because it's got wiring a plug onto intermediate. But then they
wiring
removed
a plug.
Yeah, then they removed it from intermediate. And made intermediate useful. They did a lot more. They did a really nice demo on intermediate. It was about you had to build a VFO, and then you generated harmonics, and you found the harmonics, and then you had to put a low pass filter on the VFO to demonstrate the removal of harmonics. So it was a nice practical. Whether it was really that useful for people who had no interest in HF and were using SDRs or something or whatever.
I bought an SDR to that VFO.
Sure. Can you imagine by the time we get up to a 4, it's just be able to write your own name.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say as well, in reality as well, a lot of clubs might not necessarily have all the equipment. I know technically you could build it really quickly.
Well, no, that was a practical. You had to build the kit.
Oh, right. So they kind of said you had to get a specific kit, right? Okay.
Well, kind of. You could build any kit, but then you had to demonstrate it, but it wasn't on to the club to provide it. So if you built another kit, you might have to get the first thing anyway to build it. So whatever.
I was going to say the days of Maplin and walking down the road to get a kit for you 2E have gone.
No, yeah.
I'll be honest, I sit down, I think actually some of my best, I remember my ex was licensed, and she was a better operator than those who had done than those who were full license holder. Her operation was much better. But I honestly think sometimes we probably need to sometimes with the training this is a guide, sit there. Watching videos is great, but actually sometimes we might need to demonstrate this and actually go, this is you could stop at any point, ask a question.
Well, it's best if we just have a Zello channel for that, because you don't need to be licensed and people can really be doing it.
So interestingly, and it has, again, I need to announce it, is that on Sunday at 1:00, the digital bridge connects to an M7 net run by a 16-year-old M7 who set the net up for new operators to have a go in a safe area.
Yeah.
And our bridge connects to it automatically every time. So if people who are new know how to get onto it, which you can do on your mobile phone, then off it goes. And Zello, yeah, obviously, but there are plenty of Zello groups, but we could just signpost people to it at least.
I'm talking about when we do our own courses, maybe we have a few extra things where we do a half an hour just people in the class.
As a Pass Plus, fine. One thing I always say with the training is after the training, people have forgot about half the stuff that you teach them. We just need to train them to pass their exam, and then we need to support them. Because if you train them anything more, they end up forgetting the stuff they need for their exam and remembering something that they never get examined on.
Well, whether it's done before or after, what my point is that there's several people who've passed their exam, but they're mic shy, and they need a safe environment to do that. And something like a Zello with just their classmates who they've got to know throughout the training.
Yeah.
And then without anybody else externally listening, as it were, because you're right, there are a lot of Zello groups, but they're public groups. So most of them could use that now and they don't. But
you can password protect your Zello anyway. The other option would be Mitchell on the zip line.
Yeah, if we wanted to do something like that, if we wanted to do something like that where they could theoretically just try it and one of us responds with it.
Yeah.
I think that's because to be honest, I've not used my radio for a few years properly. And I went mic shy the other night on an M7 net. And in the end I fell back to my M6 just because if I screwed up my 2E, it was less embarrassing.
So absolutely. And this is back to the Pass Plus thing. Honestly though, in practice, when you offer it, people just don't take it up. If the mic shy, they just don't take it up. That doesn't mean we shouldn't offer it and try and encourage it and try a new way, but
it's a bit like, I don't know, the people who get it, they don't want to admit to anybody else they've got that problem often.
Yeah, but the other thing is also within the hobby, which surprised me, there's more ways to operate by not speaking than there is for speaking.
Yeah.
Right, Francis, that thing on Sunday, have you put it in the calendar?
No, it's on my to-do list now. Because only the Wednesday, Friday one we're working.
Tell you what, though, it was interesting. The other night, I was just programmed the radio, and I was on my local repeater. There was more M7 stations. I was the only M6, and the rest of them were all M7 stations, all pretty much running it, and it was nice. It was and that's a repeater that normally dominated by M0s.
That's great because it means the new bloods coming through, they've bought their basic 2-meter kit or their 70 cents kit and they're using the repeaters. They'll save up some more money and buy an HF set next.
And then about a year's time, they'll find a weird little niche in the hobby and disappear into that forever and a day.
Yeah,
which is where we all end up. And then they will also be talking the voodoo that Ian mentioned earlier.
Or in my case, you just inherit the kit. Which is
awesome.
Even easier.
Okay, so I'm just looking at my notes and I'm going to turn this into a newsletter of sort, dump it in the community area as a document, a Word doc for people to correct everything and typo correct it all. I'll do it in the morning.
Yeah. Months doing that.
But the blah, blah, blah. So we need to mention that we have the free cloud log for all. We need to mention, why have I put face page? What the hell does that mean? We're moving forward. We're going to
facepalm.
I have no idea. Moving forward, club night. We're going to do club nights parallel live streamed on YouTube. We've got a whole raft of guests that we're going to look at approaching. And we want people in the club to get involved if they've got something they're passionate about. We're really keen. It can be done as a club talk, or it can be done as a pub night informal chat, a pub night theme rather than a talk. Then we've got we need to push quite a bit on the promotional videos, the how to do all this stuff, what we're up to this month. Then we're going to be mentioning the merch and that it's a trial with Spreadshot and it's ready to go and you can customize your own stuff. We're looking at an event station for the clubs being 1 year old and reaching 1,000 members, but for the anniversary, we're wanting to get as many people around the country operating the station as possible. We're probably going to need a calendar of stuff to organize that, but this is just like a heads up. We'll do an update on what training's hitting when and what's already done, and that we're doing a survey of those who have done it, and we hope to share the results. And yeah, I need to include the mention that the bridge is now connecting to the M7 net and update the calendar. I think we're good for a month. What are you doing, Vic? It looks like a trap from Ghostbusters. Oh, that makes more sense. The way you had it before, it looked like a trap from Ghostbusters.
Made progress from last week. Yes, good.
Definitely.
This is why sometimes I think we should every so often have a show and tell night. Because I think sometimes
you don't want to. You don't know. You don't want to know what I did to that PSU. You really don't want to know.
Yeah, as that PSU seen many traumatizing things then.
That PSU was grinded and angle grinded, and things happened to it, so it fits in this small box where it would never fit before.
Real engineering.
I could just sit here with a MB7 IMS's, MB6 IMS's repeater. That would be more. Actually, that's quite boring.
I should connect that on my DMR radio just so I can abuse you through it.
It's big.
Yeah, you could, but at the end of the day, as a repeat keeper, I had to deal with
No,
abuse.
gentle abuse.
What, you give me gentle abuse every Saturday night?
Right, shall I stop
Nice.
recording?
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Cool. Right,
Yeah.
This is where we say the interesting, juicy gossip. So if you did watch this, you should have come. Catch you later. Oopsie.
Should have been there.
You should have been here. Yeah, good
Should
times.
be there.
Good times. where I
Francis, you
failed.
did take a note about my vinyl stickers for the car, right?
Yes, I will put it down.